Good afternoon. I am so sorry that this video is a little bit later than the other ones, but I'm happy to be here and we're going to dive right in. Before we start with Be the Sun, Not the Salt, and dive into the content for today, I just want to say that if you are someone who has been sticking with your work, waking up consistently, moving your body, continuing to work with these third grade academic standards, watching these videos, doing every single thing that you possibly can to do your best, you are amazing. Absolutely amazing. It is so tempting when you know that your teacher isn't physically going to see the work that you're doing. It's so tempting when your teacher says that these items are not going to be put into gradebook to not do it fully. So if you are someone who is consistently putting in 100% effort, that means that your internal motivation to be ready for fourth grade goes above anything else. So please just let me know if you have been keeping up with your work and doing all of this consistently, because I just want to know who you are, because I'm just so proud of you. So if you're someone who's been doing it all, I'm so proud of you, and keep it up, okay? Let's dive into Be the Sun, Not the Salt for today. Today's lesson is called Do the Next Right Thing. You made a mistake, a real blunder. You said the wrong thing. You made the wrong move. What do you do? The answer is simple. Do the next right thing. If you don't like the outcome of the action you took, do the next right thing now. If you were a little bit inappropriate, do the next right thing now. Decide what kind of person you want to be and ask yourself what that person would do in your situation. Because I appreciate wisdom, I practice the thinking of myself as a wise person. I ask myself, what would a wise person do here now? This is also a good time to talk about the notion of being in the present moment. Something that can be difficult. Hi, Dr. Wise. Can be difficult and effortless at the same time. Being present means being aware of what's going on inside and around you. You hear things, you think things, you feel things, you see things, you smell things. If you are in the present moment, you will be paying attention. If you have salted someone's roots, you will need to take special care to help them recover. The past is the past. If you need to apologize, apologize well. If you do something that is not quite right, you will know it. You will also most likely know how to correct it. You will know exactly the next right thing to do. All right, I love that one. So today is Thursday, March 19th. Shortcut date is 3/19/20. Let's go through these academics. Make sure that you have everything with you. Maybe stack them on top of each other to make it neat and organized for yourself. We're going to be going over morning work, math, ELA, math stories, Tales of Despero. Let's roll. All right, so we have on the front here that interim review. We've actually done these questions before. The top question is asking you which one of these scenarios matches the expression 7 times 2. As a strong mathematician, I'm thinking to myself what multiplication symbol means. I know the multiplication symbol means groups of. So I reread it saying 7 groups of 2. As a strong mathematician, I'm also thinking about what is the product of 7 groups of 2. I know that with these expressions, I'm looking for a total of 14, okay? So as you can see here, I wrote on the side what the expressions actually mean, and your correct answer is A. So if you didn't get A, I want you to go through and reread these questions and think about what each one is saying. Maybe draw a picture on the side and see how they aren't connected to 7 groups of 2. So number 5 on the side here is asking us which one of these expressions is equivalent to 7 groups of 3. Again, as a strong mathematician, I'm solving before evaluating answer choices. I know that 7 groups of 3s equal to 21. I also remember that when I'm given expressions with parentheses, I have to solve for the parentheses first. Always, always, always. So as I'm going through here, I have A is 3 plus, or excuse me, I do the parentheses first. So I got 12. 3 plus 12 is 15, slash the trash. B, I solve for my parentheses first. I have 12 again. 3 times 12, 36, slash the trash. C, I do both of my parentheses. I get 9 and 12, and see that this expression is asking me to add. So I'm adding 12 plus 9 equals 21, magic maybe. And D, I have 9 plus 16, which does not equal 21, so my answer is C. And lastly, at the bottom, we have number 6, which really just requires you to know what you're solving for. So if you know at the bottom that you're solving for packages, you'll know that in order to find the number of packages that you need the total, which is given to you, and you need how many are in each group, which is given to you. 24 divided by 6 equals 4. Your answer is D. On the back, let's go through these rapid fire, just times. We have 5:30, 4 o'clock, 10:30, 12:30, 6 o'clock, 8:30. So if you got any of those incorrect, make sure that you're circling them and either pausing the video and revising on the go, or revising after we go through the rest. All right, get your math book out. And let's dive in. So we start on page 10, with number 13. And it says that Ned drinks this much each day. So each day he's drinking 1, 2, 3 liters of water. Part A asks you, how much water will Ned drink in 1 week? So that's requiring you to know as a student that there's 7 days in a week. That way you can multiply 3 groups of 7 equals 21 total liters. So if Monday 3, Tuesday 3, Wednesday 3, etc., you'll end up with 7 groups of 3, which equals 21 total liters. And part B asks, how much water will Ned drink in 30 days? Same scenario where you have a group of 3 for each day. So ultimately you'll end up with 3 groups of 30, which will equal 90 total liters. On the back, page 11, your first answer for number 14 is A, because I know that I'm solving for 6 times 8, which is going to get me 48. And then I know that I have to solve for parentheses first. So you can see that I did the work at the top before evaluating answer choices. I did 36 plus 18, which gets me 54. So already I know that he's not correct. So I can slash the trash for the answers that say that yes, he is correct, because I did the work and I know that he's not. So now I'm choosing between A and B. Is he not correct because he did not break apart 8 correctly? Or is he not correct because he should also break apart the 6? So I can see that I know that I can only break up one number at a time. Therefore, if he broke this up into 6 times 5 plus 6 times 3 and broke the 8 up correctly into 5 and 3, he would have gotten 30 plus 18, which equals 48. So I know my answer is A. On the bottom here, you had to label the model in order to stay consistent with your work. So you know opposite sides are equal. C is 10, D is 8. As you go through, you should have been able to tell that your answers are A and E. If you have any questions, you can always ask me during my office hours from 4 to 5. I will be on the computer. Page 12 is a question asking about money and decimals and using decimals in standard algorithm. If you are in my advanced math workshop group, this should have felt somewhat comfortable for you. If you are not in my math workshop group, this might have felt a little bit foreign, and that's totally fine. So I'm not going to go over page 12 because it's not really based on the standards that we've covered yet. However, I did want to show you this in case you are looking for how to do decimals with standard algorithm. Essentially, the most important thing is that you're continuing to line up your numbers by place value. So if you're not in my math workshop group, you might not know this, but behind the decimal, we have continued place values. So we have the tenths place and the hundredths place. So the ones and whole numbers are to this side of the decimal point, and all of the values to this side of the decimal point are less than 1. Essentially, for the purpose of page 12, what you need to be able to do is, 1, read the question carefully because it says that sometimes she has 2 of amount, etc. But you also need to be able to line them up and know that the decimal is always going right before the tenths place. So essentially here, if we were to solve this problem, we'd go down exactly like we would with standard algorithm with whole numbers, except you'd start at the hundredths place always. So we have 2 plus 3 equals 5, 1 plus 6 equals 7. Keep the decimal place in front of the tenths place. 3 plus 4 is 7, $7.75. Okay, so if you have questions about page 12, I'll be happy to answer them, but don't stress too much about it. ELA, we have the Old Liberty Bells. This is the first nonfiction text that we've read since we've been doing work in the privacy of our own homes, which was kind of nice to switch it up a little bit. If you remember, the main idea that you should have written for nonfiction texts are the T for what this text is teaching you about, and the POV, the author's point of view on the topic. So I wrote that this text is all about the Liberty Bell, and that the author's point of view is that the Liberty Bell is an important symbol of our history, right? And since I did all that work, I did my main ideas. The first question is asking me what is the main idea of this passage. Boom, can already go back to my main idea. I wrote Liberty Bell and history on the side, and the correct answer is C. And the reason why Magic Maybe both A and C, the reason why C is the correct answer is because the main idea is more about how the Liberty Bell is connected to independence and freedom than the whole passage being about how the people of Philadelphia wanted a bell just like they had in England, right? So that's how it starts off, but then the rest of the text is all about how the Liberty Bells is connected to the Declaration of Independence and our freedom, and the 13 colonies, or the 13 states, excuse me. And part B, I had 3 Magic Maybes. Part B asks which sentence from the passage best supports the answer to part A. I had B, C, and D. I ultimately chose D because it's the only answer choice that talks both about the bell and independence in that one piece of evidence. So C and D for this page. Number 15 says, what does the author compare in paragraph 1? Went back to paragraph 1. Notice that it's talking about the Old Tom Bell and the Liberty Bell. So that answer is an effort question. It's right in the text. The answer is A. And number 16, I Magic Maybe both C and E. I went back, saw who Andrew was again, wrote bell ringer on the side, and I chose E because the author cares more about the Liberty Bell's connection to freedom than anything else, and E is the one that connects more to that as opposed to him being remembered just for the action of ringing the bell itself. Okay, so we haven't done a nonfiction text in a while. If you got some of these questions wrong, please don't feel stressed. Please just know that we might just be a little bit rusty and out of practice. So just go back and kind of see the answers that I did get and why those are correct, and maybe talk those through with your parents. Be like, okay, this is the correct answer because. Tomorrow, when you open your ELA book, you'll notice that it's not a passage next, it's a writing section that looks like this. So please complete pages 15, 16, and 17, and then you'll be done for Friday's ELA lesson. And lastly, we have Math Stories 8.3, titled Pencils. It says there are 27 students divided equally into 3 different classrooms. If each student needs 2 pencils, how many pencils will each classroom get? It's really important that you jotted what you were solving for here because it's asking about the classroom. It says how many pencils will each classroom get. So that's really important. For my plan of attack on the side here, I know that I needed to do division at the top for that operation because it says that there are 27 total students divided into 3 classrooms and that each student gets 2 pencils. So my plan of attack is 27 divided by 3 equals A. A times 2 equals B, which would be my final answer, or you can do a P for pencils. So here you can see my model on the side. I did the 3 classrooms, divided 27 into 3 equal groups, meaning that there are 9 students in each classroom. If each student in each classroom were to get 2 pencils, I would have to do 9 times 2 for each classroom, and each classroom would end up with 18 pencils. You can see that clearly on the side here as well. I have 27 kids total divided by 3 classrooms equal 9 students in each classroom. Then I have 9 students each getting 2 pencils, which means in the classroom each would have 18 pencils. So your answer is 18 pencils. Your equation is 27 divided by 3 multiplied by 2 equals a variable. Woo! So as you can tell, Tried to move fast today. I'm getting faster and faster every day. Today we finished before 15 minutes. Very proud of myself. As always, Tales of Despero is completely optional, so if you haven't been reading, then go ahead and turn off the video and I'll see you tomorrow for one more before the weekend. And if you have been listening, go ahead and get cozy, comfy, and we will continue with the book. Okay, so if you don't remember, we finished last time with Botticelli kind of training Roscaro on how to be a proper rat, and how he kind of makes fun of Roscaro for always wanting to be in this beautiful light. And he convinces Roscaro that stealing a cloth from a prisoner is so much more rat-like than trying to go upstairs and see what light is like. So Roscaro follows through with Botticelli's plans, and it really just doesn't give him any fulfillment. He's not super happy after, and he realizes that, he says, he wanted to be filled, flooded, blinded again with light, and for that, reader, the rat knew he must go upstairs. So that's where we left off. And we're going to continue with chapter 19, Light, Light Everywhere. Imagine, if you will, having spent the whole of your life in a dungeon. Imagine that late one spring day, you step out of the dark and into a world of bright windows and polished floors, winking copper pots, shining suits of armor, and tapestries sewn in gold. Imagine. And while you're imagining things, imagine this too. Imagine that at the same time the rat steps from the dungeon and into the castle, a mouse is being born upstairs. A mouse, reader, who is destined to meet the light-bedazzled rat. But that meeting will occur much later. Ooh, I'm seeing how these two stories are connecting. And for now, the rat is nothing but happy, delighted, amazed to find himself standing in so much light. I, said Roscaro, spinning dizzily from one bright thing to the next, will never leave. No, never. I will never go back to the dungeon. Why would I? I will never torture another prisoner. It is here that I belong. The rat waltzed happily from one room to the other room until he found himself at the door to the banquet hall. He looked inside and saw gathered there King Philip, Queen Rosemary, the Princess P, 20 noble people, a juggler, and all the king's men. This party, reader, was a sight for a rat's eyes. Roscaro had never seen happy people. He had known only the miserable ones. Gregory, the jailer, and those who were co-signed to his domain did not laugh or smile or clink glasses with the person sitting next to them. Roscaro was enchanted. Everything glittered, everything. The gold spoons on the table, the jingle bells on the juggler's cap, the strings on the minstrels' guitars, and the crowns on the king's and the queen's heads. And the little princess, how lovely she was, how much like light itself. Her gown was covered in sequins that winked and glimmered at the rat. And when she laughed often. Everything around her seemed to glow brighter. Oh, really, said Roscaro, this is too extraordinary. This is too wonderful. I must tell Botticelli that he was wrong. Suffering is not the answer for rats. Light is the answer. And he made his way into the banquet hall. He lifted his tail off the ground and held it at an angle and marched to the time of the music. The minstrels were playing on their guitars. The rat, reader, invited himself to the party. All right, well, my goal for today was to finish in under 20 minutes, and I did it, and I'm proud of myself. Thank you so much for being patient with today's video coming a little bit later. Tomorrow we'll have a video, and then we'll be off for the weekend, and I'll see you again on Monday. I hope that you guys are having a great day. Make sure you remember to hydrate, move your body if you haven't, hug a loved one if you haven't, and enjoy your day. And I miss you very much.